Actually, setting up a Thai business is not difficult. The fees for that are very, very low comparatively by Western standards. And this had to be explained to me in infinite detail by the agency before I believed them.
2 years ago, I sat down with Jake Mooney, a digital nomad who had recently packed up and relocated his family from Poland to right here in Thailand. Now, in that interview, I spoke to Jake about how he'd recently started an online business and how he was hiring a team of Thai staff out here to help him do that. Fast forward 2 years, and not only has his company gone from strength to strength, but he's also agreed to come back onto the channel and give all of you guys an update about how he's getting on. So if you've ever considered starting a legitimate business out here in Thailand, or even if you're just curious about what goes into setting one up, then stick around because this is an interview that you are not going to want to miss. Okay, Jake, so welcome back to the channel, mate. Now, last time we spoke, you were just at the very early stages of building your online marketing business. For those who haven't seen the previous video that we did before, would you mind by just giving them a quick recap of who you are and kind of how you got started on this journey here in Thailand?
Sure. Quick recap. I moved here from Europe. I was managing an international marketing team for a manufacturing company there in Poland for 6 years, and worked for a local company for a while and started freelancing, and then bit by bit started to, I wanted to have my own company, provide my own services, have my own clients. So last time we talked, I had done that for a bit and things were starting to pick up. But last time we talked, I wasn't sure if that was just kind of a, occasional like hump, and then it was going to slow back down. And it did continue to take off, and let's say more and more work came through, and consistent work since then. So that's been about 18 months, something like that.
Could you tell people a little bit more about the niche you're in? Because you've started a digital marketing agency out here in Thailand. You're hiring Thai staff. You have an office in Thailand. So you're not just doing it as a freelancer, remotely from a coffee shop or anything like that. You're properly going into the full agency model. But you're focusing on a very unique niche.
Yeah, I had the company, the manufacturer I had worked for 8 years around the world in different places was in the woodworking manufacturing equipment for the woodworking industry. So I kind of was hoping that I could, niche down to that area, not necessarily because I love it, but because, all right, you now have that experience. You now have something unique to offer those companies. You can speak the language and things like that. I couldn't at the beginning though, because I just had to take whatever work people would pay me to do, and so in the first, days of freelancing, everyone's like niche down, niche down, niche down. I'm like, well, I'm trying to go after those. I'm trying to use my network to go and get as many of those as possible. But at the moment, I'm just going to take whatever work will help me pay the bills and kind of, get the team assembled and get us working on different kinds of projects. And we'll see where we end up niching down. I didn't know, maybe we'd niche down just on, the local market here in Thailand and different businesses and creators, or we'd create our own YouTube channel about, maybe some kind of offshoot of what you do. And that would end up being our niche, right? But I kept going back. It's like, I've spent so much time in this very specific industry. I feel like there's a lot of value to add. I just need to kind of keep making sure we push towards that. And so we've introduced some training for our team so that they're more familiar with the wood industry, the timber industry, the woodworking. And then, we went to the Thailand woodworking show a few weeks ago with some of my Thai staff. And we were the only marketing company there. And there's like 450 companies across woodworking, timber, flooring, all these kinds of things, and construction companies as well, right? And we're walking around and say, yeah, we do marketing. We have a little marketing agency up in Chiang Mai, And people would just be like, wasn't expecting to see anyone like you here. And then get to talking and, oh yeah, all of them have communication needs, marketing needs. a lot of them use marketing agencies, and a lot of them vocalize that, oh, I'm super frustrated with this agency. They just don't know what we do. They don't have the time to learn it. And so we have to correct everything.
In order to do that, obviously, you need to speak Thai because you're going to a Thai trade show. And I know that you have Thai staff as well, which probably help a lot in the process. But what actually goes into that? What advice, or not advice, but what information can you kind of share in regards to having that set up in place? Because obviously you can't come to Thailand as a foreigner and then just say, you know what, I'm just going to go to trade shows and start landing work. I'm going to bring a Thai interpreter with me, and that's how it's, or maybe you could, I don't know. But ideally, you have a Thai registered company, you have Thai staff who can communicate in Thai for you. Can you give us some insights into the process that goes into setting that sort of situation up, the situation you have there in Chiang Mai with your office, with your staff, etc.?
Starting a business as a foreigner, generally, I think Thailand's one of the easiest places to do that. It's not that difficult. There are steps, there are, requirements, there are things that you have to have in place. There's right ways to do it, there's wrong ways. But I think the core thing is, if you come without really a business that already is working in some way, it's like stupid to come and start a business here. Like, you can come on what I recommend people do at the moment is just come on the new DTV visa as you're building up your company that's registered in another country, which is what I did. I had the company registered first in the US, and then once the business is working and you've kind of worked through some of the initial client churn or whatever, once you get to some kind of threshold, my wife and I, we said, okay, once we hit this per month, then we will fully incorporate here in Thailand, because we know then we're not going to be worried about, are we going to be able to hit, our, financial requirements for the business this month, right? And then also have some savings as well. So if you have some savings and then you have a business that is generally starting to work, come start a business here, start on the DTV visa and then transition to, like a business visa or something like that, and set up your business. Your question is about like actual business setup then, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just, what are the requirements to actually get the business set up like that? Like, obviously, I know people say you need to hire staff and all of that stuff. So for people that are watching who may want to come to Thailand to set up a physical business, what actually is necessary in order to do that so they can kind of do the same thing that you're doing?
Honestly, the requirements, for someone just setting up a business is, you typically need, 1 or 2 ties to start a business, bring you on as a shareholder, either at the formation, which can have some additional requirements if you're a shareholder at the formation of the business. Now, this is my understanding based on the roadmap we went through. So if you try, work with an agency, but, and then, you're going to need to apply for your business visa, and there's going to need to be, evidence that, they want to bring you on to the business and, all that paperwork. And then, the immigration and business visa stuff is kind of separate, but actually setting up a Thai business is not difficult. And then there's other options as well. You need to look into the Smart Visa, business setup options, because a Smart Visa allows you basically to workshop a business for a couple years, and you don't need to hire Thai staff. Sorry, that's something I skipped on the regular business visa. When you start a business in Thailand, or a business wants to hire a foreigner in Thailand, and they're going to issue a business visa, not just another kind of visa, they want to see that the company is paying Social Security to, local Thais before they're just suddenly hiring all these foreigners. So that's where the 4 Thais requirement comes in. The business should show 4 Thais generally for every foreigner they have on staff.
Okay, that's interesting, because previously you mentioned that you didn't need to have the 4 members of Thai staff, although you do have Thai staff. And a lot of people aren't aware of that. A lot of people think that starting a business regardless, you must have 4 members of staff. But if you're married and if you're on a marriage visa, like you just said, that isn't the case. Can you kind of explain why?
Yeah, the difference is between what the labor office wants to see and what immigration wants to see when issuing a visa. So, and this had to be explained to me in infinite detail by the agency before I believed them. And I was like, wait a second. So my spousal visa is based on my marriage to my Thai wife, not like a business visa. A business visa is immigration saying, okay, we allow you to live here and work for this company. So immigration has a bit different, let's say, requirements for a business visa as opposed to someone who's already here, who has a Thai spouse, and just needs a work permit to work for a Thai company. So that's the major difference. I was literally told, because I like extrapolating. I said, okay, well, what if I hired 10 foreigners, all who are married to Thais and they live here locally? How many Thais would I need to have on staff? And they said, yeah, 1 or 2 per foreigner would be fine. And then I said, well, what happens if I want to then hire 1 person who isn't married to a Thai person down at the immigration office and get them a business visa? They said you'd need 45 Thai staff members to get that 1 person added, that foreigner added. Because now immigration office is going to look at your business and say, well, we want to see this many, Thais. That's how I understood it. I don't know how much of this should actually be online, but that's my understanding.
It's probably definitely worth verifying with a visa agent. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, 100%. But one of the things that I also recommend is like a visa agency like theirs, they not only helped us with visas and business setup, but also they help us with the accounting and the salaries and the social security payments to our Thai staff. So everything is handled through one company, different people in that company that can kind of cross-check each other. And the fees for that are very, very low comparatively by Western standards. So so much value by having someone and a consistent agency that helps support you in that way.
Hey, what's up, guys? If you're enjoying this video and if you want to dive deeper into starting a business out here in Thailand, then make sure to head on over to nomadschool.com, where this Sunday, Jake and I will be hosting a full workshop breaking down exactly how to set up a business, and you'll even get the opportunity to ask your questions to Jake directly. Now, remember, this workshop starts at 8 p.m. this Sunday, but if you cannot make it, then don't worry, because you can still get access to the full replay at any time simply by clicking the link down in the description. Okay, so it's very interesting because even though we've just discussed, not having to have Thai staff if you're on a marriage visa or whatever, you do actually have Thai staff. Can you kind of share some of the challenges that perhaps you've faced during this whole process, including like hiring Thai staff, language barriers? Because I think a lot of people have the idea to come out to Thailand to start a business, to hire Thai staff. It's obviously cheaper to employ Thai staff than it is to employ Western staff. But there's got to be some challenges that come with that.
Yeah, like trying to make sure that I don't assume too much. So culturally, in the West, we kind of expect or reward initiative. People like figuring out things myself. I'm someone who just figures this stuff out as I go. I enjoy that. And in some Asian cultures, that isn't as prevalent, right? Give me a job to do, boss, and I'll do it, and I'll do it really well, and I'll be able to get really good at it, and that'll be my job. And so knowing that is a little bit more prevalent in the workforce here, you can adjust for it, right? Also, just knowing that they're not gonna make mistakes on English and things like that. So most of my clients are foreign, right, or English speaking. So making sure that we have processes in place where I'm empowering them to kind of like do what they're good at, like video editing, graphic design, all these kinds of things. but that we create a process in which, their stuff isn't immediately going over to the client, and the client's just like, this looks amazing. You can't spell this basic word right, or something like that. So a little combination of, some AI help to help them with those kinds of little things that would slip through, and then making sure that they feel really supported by me. And I'm like, here, tweak, tweak, tweak. Oh, perfect. It's off to the client. And making sure that they feel like it's this synergy of working together. Challenges definitely can be, communication, or thinking that you've communicated something to a staff member and then realizing later that's not how they understood it. Thais don't necessarily look forward to letting you know, or letting the boss know, if they didn't quite catch something. There are reasons for that. So you might not know that they didn't catch something, and then you find out later, and you're like, wait, we talked about this. You said yes. You said you understood. And why is it like this? That is a bit cultural. So they're definitely take it, a day at a time, I suppose. A lot of communication. And then when things do happen, they never see me blame them in a group or in front of the client. I always take responsibility for anything that might have gone wrong. But if anything goes right, then they get all the praise. They get all the, the glory. So it creates, hopefully by me doing that, they feel like, they have a little bit more initiative then. And that's what I've seen in the staff members, ones who kind of, colored by within the lines at the beginning, now are taking a lot more initiative, and taking some stuff off my plate, which has been really, really nice.
Was it a challenge for you to actually find staff to hire? I mean, not speaking the language, you're in a foreign country, like you say, it's different cultural things. Like, how did you actually go about finding staff, finding good staff? I know a lot of people talk about there being a high turnover of staff in Thailand. Was that an issue at all?
We haven't had really any turnover in almost 2 years. And this is with, about 6 local staff members, but it was one at a time. Like 6 people haven't been working for me for 2 years. But again, local network is how I hired several. Like a friend says, hey, I have someone who's looking for a job. Or, someone recommends someone, said, oh yeah, they're looking for a job, or they can do that. We started almost everybody out freelance. They could just work for us freelance. We'd pay them either a monthly rate or just by project. So we were able to try them out. They were able to try us out. We've been able to filter certain people that way that initially I thought might be a good hire, and then realize, okay, they're good for certain things, but maybe, we don't have the capacity to bring them on full time or part time, or maybe there's other reasons. Never mind. So that allows them also to kind of test us out. So we've had freelancers who said, I just want to be freelance. I have 2 actually. And then after a few months, they're like, yeah, you can hire me. Please hire me. Like, just hire me. I don't want to do this, like, quoting every project anymore. Like, just make me part of your team. And then also what we've done is advertised on local Facebook groups for jobs and things like that. And that's been really good to get some people who actually hired on staff or contractors, right? So we have quite a network of contractors locally now that we've just kind of collected resumes and portfolios and rates. And then now my Thai staff is actually going through those and going, okay, this is going to be our preferred contractor for this, and so on and so forth.
Would there be any lessons, or kind of like, looking back over the past couple of years, things that you would have done differently or something like that? What lessons can you pass on to somebody who's perhaps just starting out where you were starting out a couple of years back?
Yeah, I think try to make sure that you can go the distance every day when the frustrations of like losing a client or a client not ending up being a good fit. trying to wonder like where do I even focus all my energy? Do I hire this person who's $4,000 a month? Do I hire this person, who's super cheap and just hire several of them? Where do I put my effort? Do I network with this group? Do I network with that group? So mentors, I think, is really important. People who do not care about what you're doing, aren't in your peer group, aren't at a similar, like people who have gone through extra 10, 20 years of business. That's been really important for me and my wife to be able to just sit down with someone over coffee locally and just chat and them go, no, that's okay. Or this attitude or, this mindset. So having some mentors, not trying to rush things too quickly. I want to have everything running, all our internal processes running smoothly and to be able to make as much money as possible and do great, amazing value for our clients. Like, of course, that's what I want to do. I wake up wanting to do. All of that takes time. And so the more, I suppose, patient you can be while also being intentional and deliberate, I think is making sure that stays in balance. That can be difficult to balance, as everybody would attest to, but I think, people here recommend me now or in our team because we've been around for a couple years now, right? As opposed to, oh, I'm in here 3 months, I got to get all this business right away and I got to make a big splash. Or we've been here, we don't use high pressure sales or marketing. We've actually just started marketing ourselves as our own company in the last 4 or 5 months. We really didn't do much marketing besides having a business card and a website, and I didn't even do stuff on LinkedIn and things for a long time. It's like once we get something that is working and we have a good team and proven team, well, then we can bring on, more work and things like that. So,
okay, what are the future plans that you have going forward?
I'm hoping that in 2025, I'll be out of client implementation. And I think we're getting pretty close where the team is working really well together. And I can guide, support, and be very much still like helping them to get projects kicked off and helping with the direction and strategy on projects. But I'm not editing videos. I'm not, sitting there creating Facebook posts or building websites. And so I'm hoping that in 2025, that will be a year where I can work on business development, working on the company, developing our staff and looking, bringing on new clients or other networking type stuff. And I also hope that we can continue to niche down into the like construction woodworking companies globally, locally. We're also thinking of spinning up like a division of the company that's separate because there's quite a bit of demand from like authors, creators, coaches, people like yourself who just want, a team that edits their videos, does all this stuff because they've now got to the point where they shouldn't be doing that stuff anymore. We have a lot of demand for that actually. So maybe even create a little separate department that handles that simply because the crossover between like timber industry stuff and then a coach who needs, there's a lot of crossover, but at the same time, once you get a few clients that match that market, it's like, you know what, maybe we should just create a division of the company just for that. I hope to continue this little studio. I hope to continue to kind of get it going, build out like our offices to be quite nice and inviting. Right now, it's a bit of a, you've seen it. It's bare bones, right? I don't want to overinvest in those things. We're just trying to do it slowly and bit by bit. But then I think it would be nice to have a good team here, maybe 15 people and maybe call it quits there, but we'll see.
Okay. And how can people find out more about your agency? Where can they find you?
Greenlightstudio.co is our website. You can find me, Jake Mooney, on LinkedIn. And we're also starting to put together a YouTube channel where we're going to be offering marketing advice specifically kind of for one of our target markets, the industrial companies and companies kind of that go more that direction. We are trying to advocate what we call calm marketing. So marketing that is kind of more sustainable long-term, that isn't constantly every 3 months you're pulling your hair out, redoing the marketing strategy. So we have some concepts that we're trying to promote to help people understand how they can apply it to their, small business, medium-sized business, industrial kinds of businesses as well.
Okay, well, Jake, thank you so much for coming on and giving us an update. And for those of you who do want to hear more, like Jake just said, we are going to be doing a live workshop this coming weekend on Sunday. All of the details for that will be in the link below. You can come along, you can sign up for free so you can get access to it. You can watch it entirely for free inside the Nomad School. Jake, it's been absolutely awesome having you on. Thank you so much, mate.
Always a pleasure. Good to see you.